Okay, everybody, we're getting ready to get started here. We've got some people here to sing and some people here to talk. And we're going to have a great time, but we're going to start the whole show off tonight with
bad echo.
Okay, we're getting some echo, so we're going to try to get this fixed here. The echo's gone. So we're going to start the show off with our traditional theme song. And we're flying by the seat of our pants. This is all just an extra thing. We're having some fun. We're going to learn as we go. I apologize for mistakes that we'll probably make along the way. We've got some fun guests that are coming up tonight. This will be a way shorter show, but you're going to see live humans, which is what's going to be fun about it. Feel free to make comments in the chat because I can see them as they pop up on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you want to make any kind of comments, I will be able to see them. And thank you, John Fuller, for telling us that we're sounding good. And so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and launch our show officially here with our first guest, which is Harold Payne.
We're all in this together, bonded by a common groove. We have a gift we all can use, born to celebrate the power of the muse. Locked up in our studios, jamming with the band, speaking in one language everybody understands. 'Cause we're all in this together, joined by the words and music. Yes, we're all in this together, walking in each other's shoes, bonded by a common groove. The passion burns and it won't let go. People try to tell you that it's only rock and roll. The road may keep you hungry, but the music keeps you whole. Singing for your supper, or singing for your soul. Yes, we're all in this together, joined by the words and the music. Yes, we're all in this together, walking in each other's shoes, bonded by a common groove. Spotlight, it's your night, standing on the stage. Daylight is trying to write, nothing's on the page. They may dim the lights, but their dreams will never fade. 'Cause we're all in this together, joined by the words and music. Yes, we're all in this together, walking in each other's shoes, bonded by a common groove. Yes, we're all in this together, joined by the words and the music. Yes, we're all in this together, yeah, yeah, walking in each other's shoes, bonded by a common groove. Take it.
All right, that was Harold Payne.
Awesome job.
Awesome job.
Thank you.
Harold.
Song written by you, by Brian Austin Whitney and the late Alan O'Day, and myself.
And yourself, of course. And fantastic job. I challenged him. Can you remember it after all these years? And he nailed it 100%.
Thank
you so much. I'm going to meet you out here, Harold. get rid of the echo. Sorry about the echo, folks. That's going to be something that we'll have to sort of fight with a little bit. That's the way this software works. Linda's waving to everybody on stage. I'm going to, Harold, I'm going to get you out of the stream. This is my lovely wife, Linda. And Linda, do you want to get in and say anything?
Do I have to?
Say hi.
Hi. Hello, welcome. This has been a rough time. We are so glad you're here watching this.
All right. Short but sweet. Okay, we're going to switch over here, and I'm going to intro the show with what is it that we're doing tonight. This is the Founders Awards. We call them the Founders Awards because there's only a small number of people that have heard the breadth of all the music across all the genres. Myself being one of them, probably more than maybe anyone else, just because I'm involved with everything at each stage. But also I had some help with some trusted advisors who help us pick the biggest awards of the night. And those are the all-encompassing awards. They're the things like Song of the Year, Album of the Year, Male and Female Artist of the Year. We have Vocalists of the Year in different categories. We have Groups of the Year. We have Lyricist of the Year, a whole bunch of stuff. You'll see it as we come up with it. And we also have a couple other special awards that we're giving out. And at the end of the night, we're giving out a very, very special award. It's the last one of the night, but it's something that's never been given out before. And I'm very excited about getting to that. The Just Plain Folks Music Awards is an enormous undertaking, and it would not have been possible without 4,203 of your peers. That included music fans, people who just love music in all genres. It included a lot of people who are in the Just Plain Folks community. In fact, some people that might be watching this show right now helped out with the judging. And I twisted your arm. If you didn't help out, you managed to escape my grasp, because I try to get just about everybody to get involved. And then we also use music industry professionals. And we take those three groups and we give them one criteria. How do you judge the music? Well, the only way you can judge it, one single criteria, and that is, does the music move you? And I don't know how else you would do that. There really is no other way to judge music than how it makes you feel. So you might be into production. You might be into lyrics. You might be into the way the vocalist sings and draws you in. You might be into the incredible guitar work. You might be into the keyboard programming. Any type of thing that floats your boat. That's how you listen to music. And that's how we should also judge music. So we allow people of very diverse backgrounds, artists of all stages of their careers, music fans that have all kinds of different tastes. We often nudge them into categories they haven't tried and said, here, give this a try. If you listen to a little bit of it and you love it, listen to the whole thing and tell us what you think, because you want to attract new people. So what better way to do with music fan judges is to get some that really maybe not even familiar with your type of music and see, do they love it? And we saw last night that a lot of people walked off with some honors and some wins and some nice second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth placing. And those are all big, big achievements. To get nominated in our awards, it's much harder to get nominated in our awards due to the size than any other awards in the world. Grammys, you name it. So when you're starting with 17,700 albums, 230,000 songs, it's a big hill to climb to get up into nominations, let alone getting past those nominations. So I was really excited to see the turnout. We had 1,600 people watch the music awards last night, which is a record for us because normally we do it in person. And I think the biggest night we had was about 850 in Nashville in 2009. So technically we doubled our audience by doing it live streamed. It wasn't as good. I didn't get to be with all of you in person. That's why we wanted to do tonight. Tonight is an informal hang with friends. That's the way we're doing the whole vibe. It's brand new technology. I literally downloaded the stuff to do this, what we're doing right now, about 4 hours ago. So I'm not experienced with it. I will probably make a mistake. If you bear with us, you're going to see some great performers. Hear a couple people get on and say hi, and people that are important to pulling this all off. I want to make sure that I give them a little moment in the sun. And so we're going to actually get started with that. And one more note, when you see something where it says male and female artist of the year or songwriter of the year, those are emeritus types of awards, vocalist of the year. Once you win one of those categories, you're not eligible to win it again. So if you win it, you'll notice that when I ever address you in public, whether you won in 2000 or you won this year, I call you as if you are the current standing person who won that category, female artist of the year, songwriter of the year, because you always are. So once you are that, you are always that. It's not something that goes away after a year. And the same thing with the music. We have music that some of the music was several years old. Some of it was more recent. Music isn't milk. It doesn't have an expiration date. And we like that. We too quickly devalue stuff that happens in society, especially when there's more new music pouring onto all the services every day than ever before. We're just forgetting what happened last month for that matter. And we don't want to do that. That's why we take the time to listen to this stuff very closely over a long period of time with a lot of people, so that when you get recognition, you really are getting something that means something. People who listened to your music and loved it. And I know there are artists out there that are super successful in our awards and have done this and done that and won it and sold a lot of albums. There are also people that have had very little success and haven't had big shows and haven't had big moments. But just in our music awards, if you can have thousands of people hear your music during the judging process, that might be the biggest audience you ever had. So I'm sort of proud of that as well, because people always discover music and become fans of artists that there's no chance they would have ever come across in any other way. And so we have made all of the winning playlists for all the songs 1 through 6 that were available on Spotify. And sometimes they go on and go off. So every once in a while things pop on and off those lists. So they're not in perfect order. They got kind of jumbled in some categories, but they're all there. And they're active. If you go to Brian Austin Whitney on Spotify, you can sign up and you can listen to it. And I strongly suggest just going into a genre, pick one and just push play and listen to all 6 songs. It'll make sense to you why they're in the category together, hopefully. And I think you'll be really pleasantly surprised and have a good time listening to probably stuff you've never heard before. I'm getting feedback from all over the place, all over the world. I've heard from every place, I've heard from Africa. I've heard from every continent again already, from people who were nominated or won or finished close to the top. And so that's always exciting for me. And so this is a worldwide thing. I've got my trusty map behind me. Anybody who ever did a Just Plain Folks road trip can see that's a typical road trip plan for a summer. The last summer I was touring, all those dark lines are cities that we went and visited. And we're planning on doing something like that going forward. We're going to start having virtual tours where we pick cities around the country and everybody can come out, and instead of getting in a room together physically, we're going to get people from a community into a room virtually so that you can still meet and talk to each other and play music, just like those old showcases that we used to do all over the country and all over Europe. So look forward to those coming up. Those are going to be coming up. I'm hoping within the next 6 months, we're going to start launching those, and we'll set it up just like a tour. And anybody who wants to jump in and play in a new market, we'll have opportunities for that as well. And like everything that we do, it's all free, but I will remind you that we do take donations. This awards has been very expensive, and because we didn't have a show and we don't have any sponsors because we didn't have a show, that's how you get sponsors. We did this for no money. We had no outside income of any kind. So everybody did it out of pocket, and a lot of people spent a lot of money to get through all this process. So we have a PayPal button. If you go onto the Just Plain Folks site, you can get that link. We might have somebody post the link as well in the chat board room if anybody wants to take care of that for us. I would appreciate it. And so if you've got an opportunity to support the group, support the things you love or they go away. And we're going to learn that about a lot of local businesses. We're a local business. We just happen to work all around the world, but we're based in Indianapolis, and I've been doing this for 36 years, and I just had a year and a half of no income. So support the things you love or they go away. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of support in that respect. Without further ado, we are going to get started with our first categories of the night. Let me get into my screen sharing thing here. All right. And these awards, we start off with, see if I can get it, make sure that I've got it working here. Okay. Thank you for your patience. There we go. There we go. The 2020 JPF Founders Awards. We're going to go through a deck sort of like we did last night. This is a very tiny deck, so I'm going to try to get this to cooperate with us. The 2020 Community Partner Award. This is for companies that sponsor us. Now, I just mentioned we didn't have any sponsors, but this is an opportunity for me to give thanks to Just Plain Folks' first ever sponsor and last to this date sponsor. And that is Taxi and Mac Alasco. Back in the 90s, Mike Alasco met with me and my brothers, actually. Both my brothers were with me out in LA in 98. And we had a meeting set up because I had written an article about Taxi that was a fair and balanced article. And he read that, somebody forwarded it to him, and he was so impressed that we weren't just saying it was the greatest thing ever or the worst thing ever. We said, here's what it is and here's what it isn't. Here's why you should use it, and here's why it may not make sense for you. And he really liked the way that we approached it. So he said, hey, could you come to the office? I'd love to meet you guys. So we stopped into his office, and he decided at that point that he wanted to become a sponsor. And the terms that we had were this: he would give us money. We didn't have to do anything in return. He believed in what we were doing. He didn't say, run this ad. I never ran an ad. We never ran an ad in the history of Just Plain Folks anywhere. But he allowed me to credit them in appropriate ways that made sense to the people that could use the product, and not just push it out there randomly to everybody, whether they needed it or not, or wanted it or not. And by doing that, he got a lot more business out of it. And so it was a successful partnership for him as well, but it was one that lasted for over 2 decades. And, things changed in the industry for him as well as for us. And so they were not able to keep being sponsors after all those years, which is perfectly fine. I understand. I run a small business myself. So I just wanted to call attention to, we probably wouldn't ever have gotten to this point if not for them offering us that first little bit of money, because it made me rethink this as a hobby, and maybe I should be doing this as a profession, and to be able to not have other jobs and try to do this on the side. I just did this going forward from that point on. So that is Michael Lasco and Taxi. Great guy out there in LA. So this is the next award, and I want to bring somebody in. Actually, I've got 2 people that I want to get in. John Fuller, can you get back onto the stream, please? And while he's getting in here, we'll talk a little bit about the Guardian Angel Award. The Guardian Angel Award is something that we created because we're a volunteer organization. And it started off, the first Guardian Angel Award went to somebody who just passed away, and I have spoken about before. Her name was Jill Sanzor. She actually was the first Just Plain Folks staff member, for lack of a better word. I called her my assistant, but she was very helpful in a lot of different things, especially before I met Linda. And Linda took on a whole bunch of those kinds of things and more because she was with me all the time. But Jill was really instrumental in recruiting people and getting the word out to musicians and doing a lot of things. And so this this award going forward after this year will be known as the Jill Sanzor's Guardian Angel Award, because she really was the first big volunteer who stepped up and spent her own time and sometimes her own money to help us grow, because she believed in what we were doing. So I really want to thank her. And I know her sister still follows what's going on, and I really miss her. And she was a really wonderful gal. And for those of you that knew her, she lived out in the Philadelphia area. So she unexpectedly passed away just right after my mom passed away. And I found out the same day that she passed as Etika Luckett. So it was a very, very difficult time. And I want to make sure that we remember Jill going forward, because she put so much of her time into it. So this year, we've got some people that we want to acknowledge. And in the Guardian Angel Award, we actually have an honorable mention, because these awards, all these awards that we gave out last night, were determined more than a year ago. So we were waiting a year to see if we could ever open up and have a live show. When we decided that wasn't going to be possible, we went ahead and set up what we just did. But the only reason I was able to set that up is because just over a week ago, and he can definitely, if he's back in here, John Fuller, because that's whose name is coming up. If John, you can pop in here. I think it was about a week ago that he said, "Hey, Brian, I think you could use Zoom maybe to do this, and you could probably use PowerPoint, and we could probably put something together." Because I had no idea what was going to happen. And so I just want to thank John, because he stepped up literally at the last second. And that's kind of how I've lived my life. If you just keep trying to do good things and you just put yourself out there and you keep moving forward, something good will happen when it needs to. And you'll be fortunate enough to be able to get in and get the things done that you need to get done. And John came down like from the heavens and really saved our bacon. So, we're not getting John back in here, it looks like right now. So we'll get John back in, though, because I know he's hovering around somewhere out there. And after we get him in, we'll have him talk for a second. But the winner for this year was somebody who, in the middle of the heated, getting the stuff finished and getting all the final votes in and being able to herd all the cattle, all these judges, I had one particular person step up, again, somebody kind of out of nowhere that I didn't really know. And her name is Sheila Smith. And I'm going to get Sheila. I've actually conned her into coming in here to join us. So,
hey, Brian.
Hey, sorry for your long wait.
That's okay. I've enjoyed listening and getting some of the background and the history. It's wonderful.
So I just wanted to get you in, first of all, to thank you again for she came along when things were at the most stressful point for me. And when you're dealing with that many people and the slings and arrows are just going every direction, and you're having to duck and try to get this done and get that done, she stepped up and was the absolute calming factor that I needed. Again, perfect timing. And so why don't you tell me about how hard it was dealing with me, and I'll sit back and listen to you for a second.
Actually, it wasn't hard at all. It was actually fun. It was stressful at times because there were a lot of different pieces of the puzzle, trying to pull them all together and doing a lot of searching amidst the pieces, the rubble and such that would just be kind of falling in. But in overall, it worked out just fine. And I heard heard some wonderful musicians and music, and I kind of felt like I was a friend. We became friends, and it was very satisfying for me. Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you. It was my mistake because of the technology. John, you were actually down, you had to use the scroll bar below the screen, so I didn't see you. So this is John Fuller. I also want to acknowledge John.
Thanks for having me, Brian. I mean, this is such a cool, important organization right now, especially this year, but just in general, the fact that there's a place for independent musicians to congregate either in person or via the internet is just so important. So it was so cool to be a part of these awards this year.
All right. So I'm muting people in between talking just so we don't get that horrible echo and feedback. I just wanted to bring attention to both of these wonderful people. They really were kind of the difference between succeeding and not succeeding this year. They came in at the absolute critical moment. I probably would have posted a text. I was about ready just to post everything as text before John walked up. And just to let you guys all know is John's not just a helper. He actually won an award last night for Best Modern Pop Rock Song. And we might even hear some of that if we decide to do some jamming later on tonight. And so thank you so much, John. Thank you so much, Sheila, for all your help.
Yes, you're so welcome. And thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm gonna bump you guys off for the moment. And then Sheila, if you need to leave the stream, you have to actually exit so that you don't end up popping back into it. And Harold, you're welcome to keep listening there, or you can pop back in. I know you have something you have to do at 6, so feel free to sit wherever you want to watch the show. We're going to get on to the next sets of acknowledgments here. We have a best new band category. And now, because this stretched out over so many years, this band is really not a new band anymore at all, but they entered our music awards with something that was introducing their band name. And so that CD actually garnered, I think, 4 major nominations. I think it finished in the top 6 in all 4 categories. So that was very impressive, as well as the album also finished in the top of its category. So definitely a great debut with Just Plain Folks. They might laugh if I say they're truly a new band, which I'm sure a lot of people in other awards also chuckle when they say, I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm the best new. But for us, they're new, and their name is The Empty Pockets. And, it's a small world out there. I'm very fortunate because I get to meet so many people in so many different places. And a lot of times people are connected in ways I don't even realize. But there's an interesting connection between The Empty Pockets and some of our winners from last night. I didn't realize that The Empty Pockets are actually the backup band for Al Stewart. And Al Stewart, who also plays along with one of our other music award winners and previous songwriters of the year, Dave Nachmanoff. Those two play together. And then when they're not playing together, then Al often tours with The Empty Pockets. And these are all things I had no information about all these connections. It's just how they all sort of congregate. I wondered if they told this band to enter. No, they all found us independently. And last night, Dave and Al Stewart won an award for Best Pop Song. And it was funny because they're all like, wow, I never saw ourselves winning this category. But the Best Pop Songs are more about a feeling and a vibe. And their song was felt like a throwback and a little bit to an earlier time, which is what a lot of the judges thought. But it sounded like something they would have heard on the radio at an earlier time. And I even had somebody send me, one of the judges, because we blind screen, so our judges don't have any idea who they're listening to. And somebody said, I love this throwback song. I can't stop listening to it. And it reminds me of stuff that somebody like Al Stewart did back in the 70s. And of course, he didn't know Al was even on the song. So that's the kind of funny things that happen as you're doing all this stuff. So Empty Pockets, we think that I know that they've made some big strides here recently. I think they're a great band. They're great writers. They're great singers. They do everything well. And so check them out, Empty Pockets. So next up, we have Group Vocals of the Year. And the band that's going to win that is from New York, and it's Duane. And that's an a cappella group. They won last night for Best a cappella Performance for Michael Jackson's take on Michael Jackson's song. Now they have a whole nother even newer album out of all Michael Jackson stuff. They're amazing. You're shocked when you realize that it's all voices doing the work that they do. And we've had a history of having great a cappella groups in Just Plain Folks going back to 2000. And so it's fantastic that We've got some fresh new ones also entering the fray to compete with the ones that have been there for a while, and we wanted to recognize them tonight. Next up, we have Best Female Vocalist, I believe. Yes, Best Female Vocalist of the Year. And I don't know if this person is out in the audience, but if you are, I'd love for you to raise your hand and let us know that you're out there, and and we'd love to get you onto the stream and maybe even have you sing a song. But the Female Vocalist of the Year for 2020 is Jenny DeVoe. Jenny DeVoe is a artist in Indianapolis. She's kind of like the one artist everybody in a non-musical town knows. Like they all know Jenny DeVoe's name when they hear it. And so I'm really happy that she's being recognized tonight. She's an incredible vocalist. She's an incredible writer. She's had oodles and oodles of nominations and wins over the years in our music awards. And even though we live in the same town, I don't see her a lot because I'm always somewhere else. And so people always ask me, like, what's going on in Indianapolis? I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, well, who could we contact about a gig? And I usually send them to Jenny or to one of the two of the other artists that I know are active, because I'm so often gone out of the city. So congratulations to Jenny. Next up, we have for Best Male Vocalist of the Year, Duane Allen Harlick. And Duane, nominee last night in several categories. I think he was a finalist for sure in country, I think, and for song and for album. And he's up in Michigan, and Blue Eyed Soul is what I normally think of him, but he's also been doing country music too. And so he can kind of do everything from R&B to Blue Eyed Soul to contemporary to singer-songwriter stuff. He can do a little bit of everything. So I'm happy to honor Duane. Duane actually happens to be the first Just Plain Folks member my wife Linda ever actually met in person back in 98, 99, somewhere ish in that area in Washington, D.C. 2000. Yeah, she's correcting me. 2000, she says. I believe her. She probably knows. 2000 in Washington, D.C. So that's 20 years ago. So he's still going strong. And congratulations to Duane. Next up, we have somebody that I want to bring up, a artist. Jeff, if you want to join us. If you're in the room there, Jeff, I'm going to give you some time. Live Artist of the Year, when you got a year of doing shows, you come up with candidates and cities and dates and things like that. And we didn't have that this year. In fact, we haven't had it for a couple of years, but we do have a set of artists that played a performance that was so amazing to so many people at our last music awards that I still, not kidding you, still to this day get comments, people talking about how amazing the performance was between these two artists who came up and did just a improvisation jam that just mesmerized everybody in the audience. And I'm so thrilled that I was able to get Jeff, who is one half of this team, to come out tonight and play some for us live. I'll take the suspense away. It's Jeff Oster and Michael Manring. And Jeff himself has been a long-time Just Plain Folks member who's done very well in the awards. He won for an album last night. He was all over the nominations and the finals, and his name kept coming up all night. So he's been doing amazing things. And I asked him, I said, hey, do you think you could come and grace us with your presence for the show? And here he is. Wow.
Bonus on the recognition, man, and nice to be sitting there next to Michael Manring. You know, he's amazing. He's so amazing. He just released a new album this year too, by the way, solo album. Fabulous. He's just so great. And I thank you. I'm glad to be here, man.
Yeah, the fun thing is roping people in to be here when they have no idea they're actually up for an award.
Crazy.
That's always the challenge. So. Just so you know, I did rope people in here that weren't here. I see Duane Allen Harlick has just shown up. Duane, if you want to jump into the stream, we can get you a link and you can jump in later. Just doing a little quick housekeeping, Jeff. I just noticed anybody who makes a comment, if you're in the room, say hi, and then I'll know you're in there. And if you've won an award, absolutely pop in, say hi if you don't want to perform, or if you think you're up for playing a song, that would be just a big bonus. But without further ado, we're going to get into some music here. And we're going to have Jeff gracefully accepted the challenge to play a solo for us and an improv over a piece of music that he's got. So we're going to let him get started here.
And as you can tell by the lasers and the lava lamp and everything, it's going to be that. It'll be that kind of moment. So let's dive right in, shall we? Get my little rig set up with the right amount of reverb and the right amount of everything. Turn my little timer on. All right. stop of the alarm. And here we are.
Jeff Oster, everybody. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Jeff.
very, very much for the recognition on behalf of Michael Manring and myself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep up the beautiful work, my friend.
I definitely appreciate everything that you do and your friendship. It's been amazing. And I know that the crowd was out there cheering you on as you were playing and would be clapping their hands.
I can hear them
able
right
to
now.
do that at this moment. So, all right. So that was Jeff Oster. Jeff, I'm going to go ahead and nuke you off of here, and you can remove yourself from the screen once I do this, and you can enjoy it with everybody else the rest of the way. Thanks a lot, Jeff. All right. Thank you, guys. We're going to get right back to our next category, which is me sharing a screen, if I can get to that. Okay. It's weird not having somebody else on the screen. So I'm going to add Linda there for a moment.
Thanks.
I want to get back to, it's not letting me share this screen. This is the moments where I struggle a little bit because we're using new technology. So thanks bearing with me to get that stop screen sharing. And
how great was Jeff?
Oh, you're not. See, it's funny because I get to mute right now.
I bet you wish you could do that a lot.
So say hi. You said how great Jeff was.
How great was Jeff?
Yeah, it was amazing as always. All right. Okay.
I'm sure you put me on here to look at everybody.
Keep talking. There we go. Share.
There we go.
It seems to not be the right one. And this is where I should have had somebody performing.
And that would not be me.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do this without the fancy list. I'm going to do it manually instead. So the next thing we're going to have up, can you mute your mic? Okay. The next thing we're going to have up, thank you. Thank you for your patience there. That was an unfortunate crash of a program in the background, and I don't want to make you all wait while that booted back up. So that is the technology situation that we find ourselves in. We also have awards for groups of the year, and I'm still desperately trying to see if I can find out where that went. Oh, maybe I finally came across it. Stop screen sharing. Share screen. Share screen. Application window. Share. And we're back. Yay. Sorry about that, folks. I am doing my best here. All right. So the next category we have up is Lyricist of the Year. And I don't know if Don Rossler is in the room, but he is our Lyricist of the Year. He a lot of you might know him from his song that got tons and tons of airplay, which was Christine's Refrigerator. It was an NPR standard, but he's sent us some brilliantly written words to music the whole time that we've known him. And this year, he actually won in the modern pop rock category for an album that he put together using snippets from those old records from a record booth. If you remember back when you used to go in, and this was long before there were anything but record players. And all you could do was make a record with your voice on it for a loved one at like the state fair, and you'd record your voice. And he found a bunch of these records, and then he put them together and assembled them in such a way where he wrote off of them, and he wrote sort of story songs about these people. And it's really well done. And I thought it was such a unique album that I haven't really seen anything like it. And the songs stand alone as really beautiful songs, just one at a time. But we wanted to bring attention to his amazing lyric writing. So, Don, if you're with us, I know you were with us last night, but congratulations to Don Rossler for being Lyricist of the Year. Now we have Instrumentalist of the Year. And we weren't able to get her set up to be a performer tonight. We were going to try to get her on briefly at some point in time. Maybe she's watching the stream. I'm not sure. She lives way out in the middle of nowhere in Canada. She just built a giant log cabin, and her name is Nadina Mackey Jackson. And she's a bassoon player with blue hair. If you've ever met her, you'll never forget her. She's a brilliant player, and we were going to just have her on to do a little chat, but because it's very difficult to have bandwidth up in her area, it was just kind of a technological hurdle. I didn't want to keep her waiting and have a pause like we just had. So I wanted to be able to get her on and off. So I just wanted to recognize her now, Nadina Mackey Jackson. She's played at the award shows before, and she's fantastic.
She sent something for us to read if you want.
Oh, she did? Okay. I guess we got a statement from her. Does she know what she didn't know what she was winning though?
No, but she said something to read.
Okay.
A note.
You want me to put you on to read it? I'm going to put Linda on to read this. Apparently Nadina sent us a note, so hold on just a moment.
Am I on?
You're on.
Can you hear me okay? This is what she wrote to me. Hi, Linda. I'm heading out for chores. Then I had planned to ski the backfields on a rare sunny afternoon. So I'm going to bow out of tonight, but I wrote this and hope it can take my place. Thank you, Brian and Linda, for the massive effort celebrating and uplifting independent musicians. It is a huge undertaking, and you are reaching so many people, recognizing and preserving the music and somehow making us each feel valued and part of something bigger. This weird year, I've had the good fortune to do all of the requisite isolation in my rural-based log house and reflect upon my crazy life as an independent classical bassoonist, a niche endeavor if ever there was one. I've stepped back from the frantic hustle to appear relevant and finish tasks that have been hanging over me for years. Publish a book, restore a house, life and health issues, and gave myself time to think about whether I wanted to continue down this nut-strewn path. And the answer is a resounding yes. I'm sorry to not join you tonight, but want to tell you that our wonderful encouragement and direct talk and hard work has reinforced my enthusiasm evermore. Thank you with all my heart, and congratulations to all of the wonderful musicians. Love, Nadina. And then she sent us a picture.
That was really nice. All right. I'm going to pop me back on and get Linda back off here. All right. And thank you again for those that are sticking with us. Clyde, I saw that you were out there. I was getting ready to click on you in a moment. But if you want to get back onto the stream, that would be great. Sorry that we had a little breakdown on our timing there. Let me see if I can get back to this. These programs don't always want to work well together and play well together. So I'm trying to get this to move, and now it doesn't want to do that. So stop that. And then let's do share screen. Share screen. Application. Share that. Share it. Go ahead. There we go. And so thank you for that great message, Nadina. Everything went so smooth last night. So of course tonight's going to be the rough part of the night. Producer of the year. That's for the person who puts together the best sounding album of the year. And this year, this album won, I think, 4 awards and was nominated, I believe, overall 11 times between his 2 albums. He's won Album of the Year in the past. He's also the only other person to now repeat as Producer of the Year 2 times in a career, and that is Clayton from the band Cell Dweller. And his album that won him that award was Wish Upon a Black Star. So congratulations to Clayton. International Group of the Year. We have members in 185 countries, giving out one Group of the Year award. Our organization tends to be US centric, but it's not the whole story. So this year we wanted to recognize 2 international groups in addition to a US group, because we also want to call attention to some great music being made around the other parts of the world where we don't maybe have as many voters in those countries, and that, you know, might be familiar more with the way they approach music. So we really want to make sure that we're giving them the due that they're owed. So tonight we've got 2 International Group of the Year winners, and those are Crosswinds from India, and the other is Egg Noise from the Czech Republic. And both of them have been multiple nominees. Crosswinds won for Best Asian Album last night. Egg Noise was nominated in the Modern Pop Rock category and finished in the top 4 in albums and the top 6 in songs. So I want to give them a big congratulations. And I'm going to bring in our next guest to the stream and hook up their mics. We've got Collide onto the screen. And so you can kind of guess where this is going. Our next winner for U.S. Group of the Year is Collide. Congratulations, guys.
What?
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Hey.
How are you?
Yeah, good.
Good. Thank you so much for all of the years.
You guys have been around for a really long time. You've been nominated year after year after year. You dominate a lot of the alternative and electronic categories, and some other categories mixed throughout the awards. And it's funny, I've known you guys, I think maybe back into the 90s when we first met, like right when we first met online, and you guys are just chugging right on along. Tell me about what's going on with you guys.
What's going on?
Well, we're working on new music as always. We just finished a re-release of 2 of our albums that came out 20 years ago, and we did a Blu-ray CD combo, and so that was about 6 months of work to get that together.
Right.
Other than that, we're just always working on new music.
I see tons of people are remixing your stuff. Tell me about that.
Well, every 1 or 2 albums, we like to sort of follow it up with a remix album, which is what Bent and Broken was for the awards. And so usually for our remix albums, we have some people that, we know, or maybe, musician friends, and we'll ask them to do a remix, and then we'll actually have a remix contest from our website where anybody can take the stems that we made and do a remix. And what was great was one of those remixes that you picked was from a girl named Alyssa Flinovan. And I believe that was her first remix ever that she had ever done.
Wow.
And so she did all the parts and arranging, and I actually went in and helped her mix it sonically. But the creative part was hers. So we were really happy for her.
That's such a great story.
What you find is there's a lot of talent out there. They might not have a band, but they have a lot of talent and a lot of creativity. So it's always been really fun for us to explore it that way. And after you make the song in your own way, it's done. But when you let it go to somebody else, they, you know, we love it when they do their whole own thing with it. And it's been pretty exciting for us to let go and have other people remix.
Yeah, so it never comes back to, you don't go, ooh, I'm not sure I like where that went or how that went. Or how do you deal with those kinds of moments?
Well, that's the great part about having a contest, because really you get to choose what you like. And that's the hard part about, you know, just saying somebody can do a remix, because you might not like it and we can be pretty particular. So with a contest, you just select, you know, what you really like.
And so a lot of times people will have a contest or, you know, something where they'll have, you know, 100 people remix one song. So we put all of our songs out there. So we don't want just all of one. So we'll have, like, you know, I don't know, a whole bunch of, you know, every song on the album. So theoretically there's, you know, more than we can pick, which is usually the case.
Right. And that's what I wasn't understanding, is I was thinking you had like a handpicked set of people who were competing, but it was kind of open to.
It was open. Anybody that wrote us from our website could do it. So we had people from all over the world do remixes. You know, people every country.
And were all the slots from that album, did they come from that contest?
No, there were people that we know, like the first track on that album is Kevin Key, who we've known for a long time, and he's in an industrial band, Skinny Puppy.
Right.
Chris Renna did a remix on that song, and he was in Nine Inch Nails.
Right.
So we'll pick some people that, you know, we know their work and we want to work with, and then the rest we just open it up to a contest. So it's just a surprise of whatever comes back, and it always amazes us how many different countries and how different the remixes are. So it's been something that we've really got to play with a lot over the years with remixes. Right.
And so you call yourself a studio band, because that's kind of you operate out of your studio and releasing your music. It's got to be rewarding to you to get to interact with your fans in that way that is kind of unique.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're not out there just doing shows and they're standing in the front row cheering you on. I could do a whole interview with you just about how you guys' career has gone, because it's a really interesting pathway. But I wanted to acknowledge you guys. When you win an Artist of the Year award or a Band of the Year award from us, it's us saying that we trust you guys with what we're all about. In other words, Just Plain Folks is fully endorsing you guys as creative talents and as human beings. And so we don't just acknowledge just anybody. It's people that we think a lot of, think highly of, and think that have demonstrated over the long time that you're innovative, you're creative, and that you're really good people. And I'm really happy that you joined us here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. We really appreciate all that you've done as well. You know, we know it takes a lot of work to orchestrate, and we know you listen to a lot of different things, so we're always pretty impressed.
I can't imagine listening to all that you have listened to.
I actually can tell you that I heard almost all of, but I heard all of the 17,700 albums. There were some that I only scanned through because of the time and the rounds that I got to them. But since I've been here towards the end, I've heard every nominated album start to finish multiple times over this last year. And so, yeah, I enjoy it. I didn't used to think I liked all types of music until I heard all types of music.
Right.
And you really put yourself out there, you don't even realize, wait a minute, I like this too. I like this. Oh, I like all this stuff. So, and you guys have been definitely holding up the flag for independent artists out there, to have something to strive for, because you guys have been consistently excellent. As technology has grown, you guys have always sounded great going back to the beginning. So, which is quite a magic trick, because now you're competing with where everybody has every possible tool imaginable on their desktop. You guys were doing this when it wasn't like that.
Thank you. We try.
It's always been a labor of love.
It is a labor of love.
And that's exactly what our music awards is, a labor of love. So I'm going to let you guys go. We're going to get on to the next.
All righty.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you so much, Brian. Nice to see you.
Okay. Oh, let's see, get you off here. You guys got to drop the stream yourself to get out. There you go. All right. this is exciting to me to get to hang with people because I've never seen them face to face in all these years that I've known them.
Share screen.
I know I'm trying to get it to share. It wanted to crash. So, okay, we're getting down towards the end, guys. So there was Collide for you. Now we're to Female Artist of the Year. And this is really good timing because Female Artist of the Year has got a great history. I've been posting and I will continue to post. I wanted to wait till after tonight to post the complete list of all the different amazing male and female artists of the years that winners that we've had. And these are people that we think have everything going for them. Just like with the last group, that they are up and down, top to bottom professionals, doing their thing at a very high level over a sustained period of time. And this next artist is a very exciting artist, and she's still super young to already have achieved the things that she's done and traveled the world like she has at such a, for me, what I consider a young age, is very impressive. And our female artist winner of the year is Halie Loren. So I'm going to get Halie up here. She's actually already here waiting. So this is almost like we're organized. And Duane, I do see you down there, Duane, and we have not forgotten about you. I'm going to add you to the stream. There you go. Hey, congratulations.
Hi. I'm really actually surprised. I didn't know why I was going to be on the broadcast. So this is total surprise to me.
So last night you won jazz vocalist or vocal jazz song of the year.
That was such an honor, and that was really lovely to see. Thank you so much.
And there was a lot of talent. I really enjoyed that category this year. And you were also a finalist in the cabaret for song and for album, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
So you're raking in the honors.
Well, I have to say that I was truly honored by all of the nominations, including a couple of different songs in the vocal jazz category, one of which was a song called Paint the Stars that Daniel Galla, who's joining me here, and I both co-wrote together, and that was really lovely to see that among the finalists. And it's just I'm so thrilled to be able to, after all these years since the 2009 awards, still be part of the community. And that
didn't that album she won for best jazz vocal album back in 2009, and that helped you out, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was a big step, a big boost, signal boost into, I don't even know how many opportunities came from that particular experience, from that particular highlight, that win, which was another shocker for me. I came to the awards show. I was visiting friends in Nashville and doing a couple other things, and I made it all coincide to where I could actually be there in person, which was such a cool experience. I wish we could have done that this year. I know that circumstances didn't allow for that, but maybe someday. But yeah, that win, I feel like was sort of part of what catapulted what happened in the year afterwards, which
was what?
Well, which included
share what you're willing to share.
Kind of gaining just enough international traction to where it sort of caught notice of music fans overseas, in particular in Japan, where things just sort of started to snowball. And I ended up getting a distribution deal with a major label over there, JVC, then JVC Victor, now they're called JVC Kenwood. And then subsequently, a year or two after that, I ended up signing distribution deal with a label in Canada called Just in Time Records, which is a part of the Universal family and or the Warner family, I should say. But I don't know what would or would not have happened had I not had that wonderful experience with the Just Plain Folks award that year. I'll never know. I'll never know if it would have happened at all. Who knows?
Yeah, when I heard that story, and I have no idea whether they heard about you because of us or if it was just a feather that you could point to, but we actually get coverage in countries around the world. When we had our last awards, we were in all 4 of the biggest newspapers in India covered in a pretty nice front page place our music award winners. And we had a bunch of Indian artists that had their own category. And so they acknowledged them, and it made a big difference in all their careers. And the same thing we had some Japanese artists that performed at the show last year, if you remember. And,
I remember.
And they were great, and some artists from Taiwan. So we got a lot of coverage in the Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
And in fact, the country of Taiwan paid for that artist to fly to the music award show and perform. So we get taken pretty seriously by countries around the world. The U.S. press is a whole different animal. I won't go into a diatribe, but we don't get a lot of love from the local U.S. press, but we get lots of international love. So hopefully you can add this to your already growing list of accomplishments. And I guess you guys are going to play a song for us here?
We'd love to. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I'm going to put you on full screen here and let you go.
Okay, lovely. And just as a fun aside note, actually, about your mention of the Japanese bands that came to play at the 2009 awards, I actually met one of the band members from oh gosh, now the name is escaping me of the group. The one that won. Maybe you remember, Brian. He came to one of my shows and at least once, maybe twice. And it was really cool to be able to reunite with him and see him, because we'd met the first time at the 2009 show. And then we met again when I was on tour in Japan. I think it was my 7th tour or something. He came to a show, which was really fun. So anyway, this song though is called Paint the Stars. And it was one of the nominees for vocal jazz, I think. Though we didn't necessarily write it as a vocal jazz song, it fits maybe into multiple categories. And it's like this, it's a co-write song that Daniel was writing for a long time. And then I came in and finished the song with him after it sat around in his brain for many a year.
Right.
It's actually a song that another group that I'm a part of called Halie and the Moon, that we are co-creators in,
right.
That we have on one of our albums. So
you guys are kind of in a way victims of your success.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear. It's a little glitchy, I think.
When we're both talking. I'll just say that you are a victim of your own success. Sometimes when artists start being seen as the leaders in certain genres, they sometimes get nudged into that when you're kind of on the edge. So a song that's kind of on the edge of one category or another category, sometimes it kind of gets nudged into that direction. So we'll let the audience decide what they think this is, but it's a good song. So I look forward to hearing you do it. So go right ahead.
I could. Where everybody has everything. I could barely hear. Unfortunately, Brian, it was really glitchy when you were talking, but I think I understood that you were saying that there were multiple categories where different artists qualified. And yeah, I'm really, really happy to be among those artists who are really kind of, I guess, proof that genres are just, they're limited in their ability to define music, and artists can stretch beyond those boundaries. And I think that's what you were saying. So I agree.
That was the gist of it.
It's the beauty of music. So, all right, let's play our song. It's called Paint the Stars. Sing till the night in whispers, drink with our fingertips the forgotten softness of a life beyond the maddening grip of days that crush a ceaseless world, always waiting till the darkness rises to meet another dawn. I see shadows in your eyes, the sorrow of a moment gone. We're rich in time, so why mark the hours when I can be the stars and there you'll see them make cricket sounds until you get the feeling. Forever isn't far if the spirit moves you. Lay your body down and let it sing right through you. We hear poems in the silence, taste the ocean in the sand, find a mystery within the cracks upon this barren land. So trust these hands and the magic they know. I can read the stars under your ceiling, make cricket sounds until you get the feeling. Forever isn't far if the spirit moves you. Lay your body down, melt away, till all the colors bleed into the empty space, till there's nothing left but light and all it shades, filling you with devastating joy. We're rich in time, so why mark the hours? I can be the stars under your ceiling, make cricket sounds until you get the feeling. Forever isn't far if the spirit moves you. Lay your body down and let it sink right through you. I can play the stars under your ceiling, make cricket sounds until you get the feeling. Forever isn't far if the spirit moves you. Lay your body down and let me say, oh, let me say, oh, let it sing right through you. Let me sing right through you. Let me sing, let me sing. Let I can paint the stars. Oops. Thanks, Daniel. Again, that was co-written with Daniel Gallo. And by the way, I just want to say a thank you out there into the universe to my dear co-writer and friend, Larry Wayne Clark, who passed away a few years back, who I co-wrote the vocal jazz song, Danger in Loving You, which won the first prize honors, which I'm so grateful for. And I know he would be just tickled because he got to be present during the 2009 awards when They Ought to Write a Song, my jazz album, won Vocal Jazz Song Album of the Year. And he wrote the title track for that album with me, as well as another song that was on that album. And he was so, so proud of that accomplishment. And I consider it his as much as it was mine. So I just want to say thank you to him.
Well, thank both of you. That was a beautiful performance. And I really appreciate you, both of you coming and being on our stream at such short notice. I heard you were up in the mountains, having fun up in the mountains earlier tonight. Is that true? Can you hear me?
I'm trying. There's something up with the mic. Let me see if I can hear you on the live feed here. I can hear you now.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit behind, but all I know is if you can't hear me,
I'm hearing you with a delay.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much for playing.
Thank you so much.
Of you.
I'm sorry
It was
for the
beautiful.
technical issues.
Yeah. Let me try that. I muted you out. Maybe you can actually hear me now. So for those that are watching the stream, they were awesome. And I thank you so much for coming out. I think they were up in a bunch of snow earlier today, according to a friend of theirs that told me that they had to wrestle them in to come in and perform. So you guys you rocked it. Thank you. Thumbs up to everybody. And you are out of here. We're going to get you off the stream and you're good to go. And real quickly, we're going to bring onto the screen, if you're there, Duane Allen Harlick. Are you there, brother? Okay, let me unmute you. Duane Allen Harlick pulling out the hardware.
Hey, it's
pulling out the hardware, aren't you?
How about that? I still have it sitting on my shelf.
That's right. That was that 2000?
That was the first one, yeah.
Wow. And so here we are 20 years later, and finally you're like a new, we just discovered you. You're a new discovery.
Yeah, well, nobody's discovered me yet, so you're welcome too.
You've been discovered, yeah. You were just out there. I plucked you up like the fine wine that you are.
Yeah,
and so you've always had the strange combination of really great R&B chops, the smoky blue-eyed soul kind of thing going on. You can do pop, you do country well. You really are kind of a chameleon in what you pull off, and your writing goes right along with it, and your voice obviously fits your writing.
Thank you. I often tell people I just write whatever I feel like at any given time. I had a guy review one of my records, well, not review it, but listen to it and on a trip, and he said, wow, your writing, your songs are kind of like, they go in a lot of different directions. I'm like, yeah. He goes, have you ever thought about just sticking to one direction and barreling down a narrow chute like that? I'm like, no. So, I don't know.
It's the genre argument. I get it from an industry point of view because they used to have to fit space on shelves in record stores.
Of course.
That was always sort of an artificial construct. And now they don't have that excuse because now we actually have what we wish for, that everybody could have their music online. But now everybody, meaning almost everybody who's ever lived, has put a song on Spotify, I think, and keeps pouring them out there because, let's face it, you people can do truly amazing works on their laptop by themselves. And
that's what I'm doing now. Because of all this COVID stuff, I started getting people calling me saying, hey, can you do a track for me? Can you do a vocal track? Can you do all these things for me? And up until this point, I had always just gone into I have a very close friend who has a wonderful studio and I do everything at his place. But with that shut down, I had to actually get myself set up here to do it from home. So I'm starting to get my feet muddy in this activity now with them, getting all set up to do home stuff.
Right. And I saw a comment in the mentions online here that there is no industry anymore. And yeah, you can look at it that way, but we still have to exist, right? So if we still have to exist and we're going to keep making music because we have to keep making music, it's not a choice. It's not an option. Anybody who says, well, if I don't do this by this age, I'm just going to give up. Well, just go ahead and give up because you should only be making music if you can't not make music.
Exactly.
Because it's beating your head into a wall 99% of the time for that little spark of achievement or acknowledgement here and there. And so, we all still need to exist. And I'm determined to say, well, if the industry doesn't exist anymore, then guess what? We have no competition. Let's start it up again. Let's find a way.
That's a great attitude.
Let's find a way. And I think that, now they've got us locked down. They're making it as hard as they can. They're throwing like every obstacle in front. They're going to get a lot of people to give up and get despondent and quit. I'm not quitting. I've had plenty of reasons to quit. I'm not quitting. If it's not,
I haven't quit. I mean, I'm standing at the gate. I'm gnawing on the fence, right?
Right.
Like shaking and rattling, saying, "Come on, let me play. Let me play."
Yeah. So I think eventually this too shall pass, like everything else. In the meantime, I'm not giving up that. I think the important thing is to get musicians together like that are in our chat room right now on YouTube and on Facebook, and start getting to know who the other people are that you're in the room with, and seriously getting to know them, not like just saying hi or giving them a like. I mean, actually send them a note saying, hey, what are you doing? What are you working on? How do you use technology? Share tips, share information. But also, we're going to, you were part of some of our Just Plain Folks road trips. I told the story earlier. I don't know if you were listening, that Linda was the first. You were the first one she ever met from the organization when I first met her.
Over in DC,
we came to your show in Washington, D.C., of all places. So, I think that you've got to find a way, and I'm all about finding a way. And there are ways to first get people together, because you have to know each other to be able to help each other. Right. And, there's a concept that's out there, and I don't look at it as a negative. Some people say it's a negative thing, but in-group preference, that is not a negative thing. In-group preference means you watch out for those that are in your community. Pick whatever community you want to be in. It doesn't make any difference. But if you truly support each other in that community, all of you rise together. And so, and against all odds, you'll rise together, because nobody else is working together. They're working against each other. And so if you start working together, it takes very little cohesion to actually go, whoa, that made a difference. And we used to do that with live shows. We go to venues that were popular venues that people could never get booked in, and we'd get them because we brought our own crowd. We filled up the room, and we were free. So we cost the venue nothing. We filled up the room for 6 or 7 hours of packed houses, and they bought and drank and everything else. So they all begged us to come back, even the big name rooms, because we filled them up. And that's the way we use the power of our numbers to then add those venues to all those artists' resumes all over the country and in Europe as well. And so, and everywhere here, there, and beyond. And we can do the same thing again. Now, what I want to start doing is using things like Zoom to get people in a room together, even though it's a virtual room, to see each other face to face, to get out their guitar or their piano or whatever it is that they do. And hopefully play something live. But if they don't have the chops for that, then we help them as well. And they get to play a little clip of their music. And just like we used to be in the room together at a road trip showcase, we're all there supporting each other. And we're also networking with everybody else in the room, because you can send private messages to each other. You can watch somebody play a song and like, hey, that guy or gal would be great on this project I'm working on. And if we start exchanging those sorts of pieces of help to each other, it makes a giant difference. The combined fan base that all of our members, and our mailing list is 89,000. Sadly, no one reads emails anymore. It's dead. I've actually thought about closing up my email list. It's that bad as far as the percentages that read it. It's just not an effective way to contact people. But you got to almost know somebody in person anymore to actually get them to notice you, whether it's Facebook Direct or something like that. But But we've got the numbers between all of our members to dwarf even some of these social media companies, because we have everybody's combined fan bases. They're gigantic. If you look at the sum total of all these, even if you're an artist that only has 150 fans, you count, and that adds up to real numbers pretty soon. So I've got a lot of ideas of approaches. You've got to dig yourself out of disparity that sometimes people can fall into. And I think we can lift each other up. And you're such a positive guy, and that's something that everybody who's played tonight.
Don't let my wife hear me say that.
Yeah, well, my wife would say the same thing, but I surround myself with a lot of positive people that are forward thinking, that are willing to go out there and get it. I've seen you hustle and hustle and hustle. You're based in Detroit, right? Yeah. And so, and you got a big family, and all this that goes along with that. And so you've been able to keep it cranking all this time, even with those constraints. A lot of people would give up. Well, I got a family, a wife and kids, and now I can't play music anymore. I can't do this. I can't do that. No, it's because you didn't really want it bad enough. Right. If you are a musician meant to make music, you can't stop. So I'll get off of that.
Just on that point, through the years, I've had people say, hey, how can you work a day job and play gigs at night and go to night school and coach your kids' teams and still be a dad and a father? And how do you do all that? And my stock answer is always somehow. Yeah.
Well, and my answer would be, how can you not?
Yeah, exactly.
How can you not? I wouldn't want to do all those things. It's like you're getting away. It's like, it's what I tell people, with all my issues that I've dealt with. It's like, I want to get away with as much good as I can get away with while they still let me get away with it. So I want to do as many crazy things that they say can't be done or shouldn't be done. You're doing this awards for no money. You did all this work and got all these people to spend all these hours judging music and nobody got paid. Yeah, no, that's why they did it, because nobody was getting paid.
Right.
And they did it because they love music, and that's what makes it work. And
we're still not getting paid.
Michael Manring just walked into YouTube. Hi, Michael. Good to see you. Jeff,
Hi,
did
Michael.
you proud? Jeff, did you proud tonight? He was the winner tonight for best live performance. And Jeff Oster and him at the last music awards. So, did you bring a guitar? Are you going to play a song?
I always got a guitar.
So we're going to have him up, and then we've only got a couple more awards, and they're big ones. So as soon as he gets finished up, we'll get back on track with I think we're going to finish with our Male Artist of the Year, followed by Songwriters of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and then a special award we've never given out before, but we're going to save for last. So go ahead, Duane. What are you going to play?
Well, what do you want to hear? Old, new, different?
Don't ask that. No, you should know what you want to play. You're a vet. Play something that makes you look good.
I don't know if I can do that. All right, I'm going to do a song. This song I wrote after I was doing a songwriting seminar and performing at the seminar. And one of the questions that the moderator asked me was, "Hey, Duane," that's me. He said, "Hey, what's your most autobiographical tune?" And I thought about it for a second, and man, I don't know that I'd ever want to put my life into a song. That would be scary. But I did. And it came out like this. I hope you enjoy it. It's called "I'll Never Write This Song." There's no way I will ever write this song. Free the man in prison for so long. The brokenness and sacrifice that left this heart as cold as ice. Leave them all to wonder when I'm gone. 'Cause there's no way I'll ever write this song. There's no way I could ever sing this tune. The melody alone would lead to ruin. I could never harmonize the notes between the truth and lies. So let impatient silence fill the room. As I will never write this tune. Honesty be damned, just leave me as I am. Let these demons haunt me to my grave. Like a flower wilting, this tired soul is lilting, with a ring until there's nothing left to say. Yeah. There's no way I will ever say these words, for hearts cannot unhear what ears have heard. Better off to leave this place, content in his amazing grace, and holding fast to every lesson learned. No, I will never say these words, and I will never sing this tune. Leave them all to wonder when I'm gone, 'cause I will never write this song. There you go. Have a great morning.
All right, nice
wherever you are in
job.
the world.
Right, yeah, exactly. We had people from India in here just a moment ago. We had people from somebody from Taiwan, somebody from Venezuela was in here. So all over the place. That was excellent. I had never heard that song. Wasn't on one of the albums. I can't remember. It didn't strike me right away.
No, it's brand new. It's set for the next set of recordings. So.
Great. Well, assuming I survive, we'll be doing another one of these, hopefully face to face again, so we can all hang out. Next up, we're going to, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to kill you off here. And you got to exit the stream on your own. And Harold Payne, you disappeared on me, brother. Where are you? I'm going to wait for Harold to get back in here. Meanwhile, I'm going to go through my process of having to restart this program for the 10th time tonight. Keep it going. There we go. Hopefully it's going to go backwards. Yeah. Okay. So that was our next one up is going to be Male Artist of the Year. And there's something I definitely have to say about this one. Since I really got super active, Just Plain Folks was a labor of love when I was in college. I started it in college almost 36 years ago. It's unbelievable. And I started it as a theater project. We needed a bunch of outsiders, needed a way to do a show. I created Just Plain Folks, and the concept being that the outsiders aren't going to listen to the establishment. I was a college student after all. And we're going to find a way to do the show anyway. And so I started the organization. It turned into a music organization shortly thereafter because I took that interest up, and we did a lot of local events around Indianapolis and some other places that I traveled, and got groups of people together to play songs and write songs. A lot of it was geared towards making music. I was still right in the middle of all that with everybody. And then I started traveling farther and farther away from home when AOL first had what was to become regular email. You could send email to everybody in AOL. So I got onto AOL, and on the old profiles there were male and females that list their interests. And if I saw somebody who said songwriting, I went out and I did a search, and I plucked one male and one female from all 50 states. And I said, here's my crazy idea. You 100 strangers in this brave new world of email on AOL. I want to visit your town for the first time. I want to write a song with you. You don't know me. I don't know you. I have no idea if you're any good. You don't know if I'm any good. But we're going to write a song together, and we're going to record it. I've got a little recording device. We're going to make a copy of it. You're going to show me around your town. I'm going to pack up and go to the next place. And that was my plan. That was my big strategy. I thought I'm going to use that to get to all 50 states because I really wanted to see, is Just Plain Folks a real thing? Does it work? Do my ideas work? Or should I be looking at getting back into corporate America? So I sent the email out, and 60 of the 100 people back then, when people actually read their emails, because it was a novel thing and you didn't get spam, 60 people wrote back and said, not only do we love that idea and we want to do it, but we're going to invite all of our friends. We're going to turn it into a party. We're going to have this big gathering, and everybody's going to get on it. And I'm like, that sounds even better than my idea, way better. And that turned into what the modern day version of Just Plain Folks is, where I started traveling all around the country, meeting with people. And one of the people that I met very early on is the person who's going to win this next award. And this person has already figured it out, but let's see who in the audience can figure it out before I announce it. This person was in a city I'd never been to physically yet. And he got my newsletter, because I used to send the newsletter once email became a thing nationwide. And that was only 24 years ago, guys. It's amazing how much has changed. But so he got a copy of my email that mentioned a very famous song educator and great person, John Brahaney. And he said, hey, John, this guy mentioned you in his newsletter, and check it out. And meanwhile, he's coming to LA. And so he stepped up and raised his hand and said, I'll help you do a show out here. And so the winner of this next award set up the show for us at a really prestigious venue for people out there, that especially those that had never played. It was at Genghis Cohen in LA. And we had our first giant LA event, and it was at Genghis Cohen. And this person has taught me more about just going for everything in every part of his life. I call him very lovingly the Forrest Gump of the music industry, because he seems to get around and he's part of everything and he meets everybody and he knows everybody. And not only that, but I rarely travel anywhere in the world where his name doesn't come out of my mouth and somebody goes, "Oh, I love that guy." I've been in at least half the states and randomly been talking about this person. And they're like, "Oh, I met him. I love that guy. You know him? That's so great." And I started learning that this person has almost done nothing in his entire life but play music and find ways to make a career. And this is the kind of person that you need to know in times like this when things are harder than it's ever been, because he always has a way to make something amazing happen, and for himself and therefore by others. He's invented some things that now a lot of people copy, some approaches to making a living, making music. He's also a multi-platinum songwriter, as if that's just a side note. And it is a side note in his career because this guy has done more things than anybody else I've ever met. And I've met people that are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We have members that are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We have members that have won every single award that there is to win. We've had members that have done everything you could possibly imagine. I don't think any of them have had this guy's career arc line. And every year when we sit around and we get a group of people at the end of the year, usually we do this the week of the awards. We get together in groups and talk about all of you and say, okay, so those of us who've listened to most of this music, we start arguing about who should be this and who should be that and which album is this and which song is that and which artist, really has an impact. And should we have represent all the other male artists that are in the group and all the other female artists and all the other people and myself as well. The reputation of our organization goes behind our Artist of the Year winners. And we've got some just fantastic ones tonight. But this person is special because every single year his name has been up for this award. He's been one of the finalists every single year. Not only that, but just about every single year he's nominated. He's always there. He's always around. And you've actually already heard him perform tonight because he's also the co-writer of the Just Plain Folks theme song. He wrote that with Alan O'Day, which was one of my heroes as a kid. The guy who did Undercover Angel and Rock and Roll Heaven and wrote Angie Baby for Helen Reddy, just amazing stuff. And him and Harold and I wrote the theme song. So I've given the name away. So the winner for Male Artist of the Year for this year is Mr. Harold Payne. And I'm going to bring Harold on up because he is in the waiting room. And we're going to get him in here. Oh, and that was my mistake. Let me get you. Are you in here, brother?
I'm here.
Hey, this is long overdue, but, all good things come to all those who wait. And you're always up for so many awards. A lot of times it's just you're always just there all the time. So when these discussions take place, you're just always in the discussions. And then for different reasons or different circumstances each year, somebody else, one of the years you won Songwriter of the Year, and we don't like to lump everybody together to win all the awards in one year. But and once you win that, you can't win it again. So I think this is the appropriate time because for me, this is the most important music awards I've ever done because this was when I was able to persevere and everybody working with us, the volunteers. I had so many volunteers really go out of their way to make this happen. But you're the guy that inspires me because I'm going to tell a story and I'm going to drop a name. And this is not Harold, so Harold disassociates from all this. But this is just one thing that happened to me one time, which is one of my favorite personal stories that I tell my friends when we're like, "Hey, Brian, tell me some stories." So I call Harold a lot of times, and he's doing interesting things because he's always doing interesting things. And I get on the phone, and he answers the phone, and it's super noisy in the background. I'm like, "Harold, what's going on? I can barely hear you." He's like, "Well, I'm backstage at a concert." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so we're still trying to talk. And I'm like, "Well, it's so noisy. Like, it must be a really big show." And he's like, "Well, yeah, it kind of is." And Harold never drops names. So even after knowing him all these years, I have to rip them out of him. But I go, "So come on, Harold, give it up. I know it's something interesting. Tell me where you are." And he just, "Well, I'm back at stage at the Rolling Stone concert." And I'm like, he probably didn't even remember this story. And I said, "The Rolling Stones concert? What in the world are you doing backstage at the Rolling Stones concert?" And he says, "Well," and I won't tell you which one, but I'm writing finishing a song that I had started writing with one of the Rolling Stones. And I'm like, only Harold, can I call him at a random time, is the backstage of the biggest rock band in history, one of the biggest, I'm sure, one of the top 5, certainly. And just as a matter of fact, offhand comment, oh yeah, well, I'm just backstage and I'm finishing up a song that I started with my buddy from this famous band all these years ago. And that's Harold Payne to me. And the road trips we've been on together and the things that we've done together, you can tell that we don't play favoritism here, because obviously you could win it every year and you don't, because there's a time and place for everything. But you have persevered with your career, and I think you're the right man for this year, because so many people are worried and scared and thinking that it's all over and thinking that there's no way forward. And man, brother, there has been nobody like you who has found a way here, there, and everywhere to form a career, a substantial career, and keep playing out and keep finding ways to do it. You're a survivor, brother. So I'm going to stop talking and let's get a few comments from you.
Wow, way too long of a story about me. I'm honored to follow Duane, because he's the one that did the Christine's refrigerator, right?
No, that wasn't Duane. That's okay. He did some great stuff, but no, that was a different.
Okay, because I had to step off. I stepped off for 20 minutes because I did my 2-song Tuesday Facebook live, so I stepped away and then came back.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, there's just so many talented people, and I see the people out there like Tammy and Little Peanut out there, and
Haley's out here, John Fuller, Duane's out there.
A lot of people that I know, and Cindy Alexander, and anyway, it's just been. I'm fortunate that I've just been able to. I have a one-man show that I'm putting together called Under the Radar, Over the Moon, and it's kind of where I live. I'm happily kind of under the radar, and I've just, as a survivor, I just love what I do, so I keep doing it and finding ways to do it. I've been doing Facebook Live shows since early April, continuously twice a week, and I've been doing custom songs and improv and virtual shows and churches and just about everything. And I was playing live at venues outside until recently, and so I like the variety and I like it all. But thank you so much. I'm really honored to be amongst all these great people and the kind words.
What do you want to play from your catalog?
I have no idea, but since you mentioned the reason I got connected with that aforementioned group was because of my work with Bobby Womack for 35 years, until his passing. And this is a song that I've never released because they haven't released his version of the song yet. It's a song that Bobby Womack played the guitar left-handed upside down. And it not only did he literally play the guitar upside down, but it was a metaphor for his life because everything was handed to him upside down and backwards. And so he had to work that much harder. And I was there when he got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And so anyway, it made me think about his life, and that's where this song came from. Hope I remember the words. Well, I grew up in Cleveland, on the poor side of town. If hard times was a river, then we all would have drowned. My daddy worked the steel mill, trying to make ends meet. And we sang for our supper when there was nothing left to eat. I pulled myself up by the bootstraps of hand-me-down shoes. We learned to sing together to chase away the blues. And I found a way to turn my life around. I learned to play the guitar, left-handed upside down. Ooh, yeah. I used to sneak my daddy's guitar while he was working at the mill, till one day I broke a string. Lord, I thought I would be killed. But he said, go ahead and play it, son, but you better play it well. 'Cause if you're just messing with my guitar, then you sure be catching hell. So I played those gospel changes like I see my daddy do. I can see behind that frown a big old smile starts shining through. And his pride began to well up as he heard the soulful sound of his old guitar strumming, left-handed upside down. Seemed like everything was turned around, so I worked harder to fit in. But that just made me stronger than I ever would have been. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, oh. We sang in storefront churches, my brothers, my dad, and me. And folks would gather round to hear that Womack harmony. And when I close my eyes, I still can hear that sound. I'm playing my daddy's guitar, left-handed upside down. Ooh, yeah. Left-handed upside down.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Beautiful. I love that song. And you definitely did Mr. Womack proud on that one.
Thank you.
So, Harold, just briefly before we head on to the next set of categories, you are going to hang around. We're almost done. We have only a couple things left. I wanted you to make sure you do us our theme song out. Are you still up for doing that?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay,
definitely.
All right, so I'm going to nuke you for the moment out of the channel so that we can get on to the next things. Congratulations, my man.
Thank you very much. I'm extremely honored.
Nobody will represent us better than you. You've been representing us anyway. You really didn't need this award, but now it's official.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. And we're going to get back to sharing the final few categories. Songwriters of the Year. And hopefully we have one or two of these folks in the room. I know one of them definitely couldn't make it. Maybe the other one is. And if this person is here, then please pop into the room. We'll get you the link. Just ask. Songwriters of the Year. It's been such a long time since we did the last awards. Those reasons have been hashed over a million times. But there are two writers that we're going to recognize. And we did this one other time where their body of work from the first time they got involved in the organization, in both cases, one was in the mid 2000s. The other one was that actually was the first person I met in Nashville at the first official Just Plain Folks event, and was the very first performer. So that was 22 years ago in Nashville. So I'm really proud that I can recognize their collective bodies of work, which are just second to none. Both of them have won overall Song of the Year. No small task when we're talking about 500,000 songs this year and 750,000 songs another year, and just crazy numbers. So our Songwriters of the Year are Jasmine Kane and Shelley Tackett. Jasmine and Shelley actually, I think, are both down south right now. Is Jasmine is she still in Tennessee?
She's in Florida.
She's down in Florida now. That's right. She just recently moved to Florida. Shelly, of course, is in Tennessee, and any of you that are in any of those places know one or both of them probably pretty well. They've both won too many different accolades to mention. They're both heavily nominated in this year's awards. They both are winners this year as well. So I just want to thank both of them. If either of you ladies are here, you're joining a very illustrious group of other Songwriters of the Year: Janice Ian, Gretchen Peters, Dave Nachmanoff, Harold Payne, Cindy Alexander, Melody Guy. I think it's just a really impressive list of people that have won this award. So definitely congratulations to those gals. And if any of them do show up, please hop into the room. So we're down to Album of the Year. Album of the Year is always sort of contentious. There were a lot of, and contentious in a good way. There's a lot of passionate people who really go to the wall for certain albums because they just think this is like the best album I've ever heard. This is the greatest album. And this year we really got fixated on some just brilliant albums that are showing some master artists at the peak of their craft. I'm going to tell you about some of the ones that didn't win, just briefly mention them because they deserve at least to be mentioned. Gretchen Peters, Hello Cruel World. It's a fantastic album with deep songs written by a very deep artist. She's just never ceases to amaze me with her ability. Another great album that we got was from Dan Merrill. It's a singer-songwriter contemporary album. And he also peak form, sort of a mastercraft of his whole career. I've known him for a very long time. And he really delivered on that album and against a lot of stiff competition in the things that he did. Club de Belugas, their album was full of fun, jazz, cabaret, tongue-in-cheek in some cases, throwbacks in some cases, just a genius album all the way through. So I definitely wanted to mention all those albums. And then there was also Clayton's album that is probably just one of the finest independent artist produced recordings that I've heard. He won a whole bunch of awards this year, but the one that we settled on was one that that was one of my favorites. And a lot of times my favorites don't win, but this was one that I certainly went to the wall for. It's a much quieter album than something like Cell Dweller. It's a singer-songwriter that hails from an unusual place in the world for most of us that we don't think about, don't talk about as much. It's a beautiful place. It's the Faroe Islands. And this artist was our best female vocalist in 2009. She came over and played at that show. And she's got an album that was very reminiscent for me of Amy Mann's Whatever album. Anybody who's an Amy Mann fan might understand this, that I fell in love with that album the first time I heard it. And not since then have I heard an album that I felt the same way about, like, wow, this is something different. This is like so incredibly produced, so incredibly performed and written. Almost every song on this album was nominated. They all finished in the top 6 in their categories. It was amazing. None of them won. None of the songs won, amazingly. The album did win in the pop category against some very stiff competition from some really great veteran talent in there. So I'm really proud to announce this year's winner for Best Album of the Year, Letters from the Pharaohs, Lena Anderson. So Lena is way ahead of us on hours, and I knew she wasn't going to be able to be here, but she sends her love. She didn't know she was winning, but I'm sure she's going to be psyched. She did watch the music awards with the other 1,600 people last night. And this little informal gathering we have here tonight among friends. I'm sorry she couldn't be here, but Lena Anderson is a wonderful artist hailing from an unusual place in the world because not a lot of people could even pick out the Faroe Islands on a map. And she has definitely put their music on a map. She's probably the most heralded artist to ever come from there. And she's well deserved for all the attention and accolades that she's gotten. So check that album out. I want to remind everybody once again that all of the top 6 songs in every category, including a lot from this album, are available on our playlist on Spotify at Just Plain Folks. I'm sorry, at Brian Austin Whitney. I changed it, so it's at Brian Austin Whitney. If you click on that, if you have any problems getting it, just contact me and I'll definitely help you find it. And so check out all the music. So we're down to our next category, which is Song of the Year. Now, we're actually going to do something, if we can make it work technologically, we're going to try to play a video of this song. We waited till towards the end. We have a special award after this. That's very important. That will be the last award of the night. But just before we do this, we're going to play this one more song. And this is the overall Song of the Year. And I'm going to get in here and see. Did you put it up there for me to grab, hun?
No,
You know which one I'm talking about?
I do.
Can you push it in there? Is it queued up in full screen?
Yep.
Okay. This song is from Gretchen Peters. It's called Idlewild.
Oh. Did it take it? Can you hear it?
No, I'm not hearing it.
Okay. Go out of it again. Take it
Okay.
out.
We're going to take it out. I'm going to re-add it to the stream. Can you get it going?
Nope. I know why.
Sorry about that. We're going to get to that, but it's Idlewild. It's Gretchen Peters. She won for Songwriter of the Year last time around. This comes off of her award-winning album, and she also won for a song called 5 Minutes off of that album in the Americana category. And I'm going to see if I can add this.
Ready?
See if we can play it. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear it?
There in the front seat, he's got the radio low, and the moon hangs over Idlewild as the planes touch down. He is talking, she's not listening. She is thinking of her father who died when she was young. I'm in the back seat. They think I'm sleeping, but I am listening for the cracks between their voices in the dark. We are a family, we are a shipwreck, and we're picking up my grandma who is getting very old. And they think she's dying, but I think she's laughing. I think she's riding Haley's Comet from Fort Lauderdale to here. And when I see her, I'll keep her secret. We all have our secrets that we keep inside ourselves. They built this airport, but in a few years they'll name it after Kennedy, the one who died today. And he will leave her, and she will suffer, and they will never really know each other. They think we're driving, but I know we're drifting. They think we're off on some adventure where the hero saves the day. We think we're special. We think we're golden. We think we're walking on the moon, but we are dancing in the dark. We shoot our rockets, we shoot our presidents, we shoot the commies and the niggers and the Viet Cong. Everything changes, everything stays the same, and the moon hangs over Idlewild as the planes touch down.
Okay, and that was Idlewild. Hope I'm back there. What a masterclass in songwriting that was. If you go back and listen to that song, and it paints a picture that you can be that little girl in the back seat of that car, and looking back at it in hindsight, you just, it's a song to say that, does this song move you? Let me see in the chat room. Give me a yes or a no. Does that song move you? All I know is that it can bring tears to your eyes. It has brought many tears to my eyes, I know. And it just puts you in a place and a time into a little girl's life that paints a picture with words and such a amazing tight choice of words. It to me, when I first heard it, I'm like, wow, that sounds like a candidate for Song of the Year. And all this time later, it's like, yeah, that was definitely the Song of the Year. So thank you to Gretchen Peters. We did get permission to play that, so hopefully Facebook agrees with us. And so we have one big award left, and believe it or not, this is the biggest award by far that we've ever given out. We've never given out an award that even compares to this. And let me do my little magic here if I can get this to come up and do it officially. Thank you guys all that are still here, that are supporting folks. It's so much appreciated. And I'm going to, this person already has figured out that it's them, so I'm just going to bring this person on up. As I say, come here late but she doesn't know what it's for.
I don't.
It's Cindy Alexander, and she's going, what in the world is going on? So this, of course, comes with a short story. We've done all these awards all these years, 23 years since we started taking our first official music for the music awards. That happened actually in 2000. not to date anybody that's in the room that might have been around back then. But only one person has done something that Cindy has done. Now, Cindy was already going to win this award anyway, but I thought that there were some other people that might have pulled the same task off. And I'm going to tell you who those people were because it's also rarefied air. We have several artists that were very close to being in this group. And that would be people like Melody Guy, Tammy Edwards, Harold Payne, and Bonnie Janofsky. They all came close. And that is Cindy Alexander has been nominated in every single awards that we've ever done. And those others missed it by 1 year, but you pulled off something that nobody else has ever and can ever in history ever do. And that you have been nominated in and you've won quite a few awards over the years, but you've been nominated in every single one that we've ever done. And your music is usually in one of the tougher categories to compete in. And it's sort of jaw dropping. Now, you've been Female Artist of the Year. You have to remind me, I think you were Songwriter of the Year, I believe. And I'm doing this from memory and I don't want to short anybody. You've won, I know, several album awards. I think you at least won one song award that I can think of off the top of my head. And your career has just been, it's always consistently, here's another great song by Cindy, another year, another album, here's more great songs by Cindy. And I just wanted to proudly, officially make it official. Now, I don't know what card's going to come up next, so I apologize if it's not the card I think it is, because I screwed up the end of this deck. So let's see if it'll come up. Well, come on, Brian. Stop sharing. I want to get what it says onto the screen. I know she's still like, I don't know what I won. What did I win? What is going on?
I'm the one with the
no idea. Okay.
I won special award.
You won the special award. Just Plain Folks, first ever inductee into the Just Plain Folks Hall of Fame.
Oh.
And we've been talking about having a Hall of Fame for all the tens of thousands, well, hundreds of thousands at this point, people who've entered music over the years. And there's a short list of people that will actually get inducted with you in a class once. I'm not doing that show. That was going to happen this year. It was going to be the Sunday after the Saturday Night Award show was supposed to be the Hall of Fame night. And none of it happened because I refuse to do that one. I'm not doing that one until we have people face to face. I'm determined. So it'll be until you have something like official where you're there. But you are the first inductee and will always be the first inductee into our Just Plain Folks Hall of Fame. And that's quite an accomplishment if you look at the list of artists of all shapes and sizes that have come through here in all these years. And it's well deserved. You've won pretty much about everything you could win and have just keep coming with more good stuff. And so now that I've broken that news to you, you have anything to say?
I'm truly humbled because, I mean, first of all, that last song just floored me. And I played with Gretchen 10 years ago. I played with her in Vacaville, California, actually. There's Just Plain Folks is such a tremendous wealth of talent, and not only of talent, but of supportive, people. And I'm just so grateful for the friends that I've met through this organization. And, you talk about how you used music to help, to travel, to meet people, to write songs. And I think you and I are on the same page there. Music has always been the key to my adventure and a way for me to connect, not only to audiences, but to other artists and other songwriters, and just even people that you just meet on the road, random people, and the Uber driver, whatever. But I'm humbled. I'm so honored, Brian. Thank you for always just being such a huge champion of mine, and people like you keep me going. I know we've all had, bumps along the road in the last 22 years that you've been doing this, and whether it was health or finances or whatever, but you and the people that I've met through this organization, everybody kind of like puts a hand out when they can, and we pull each other along. And I mean, I got to write a song with Harold Payne, and I wrote a song.
Oh, it's great. I've never heard it.
Yeah, it was written back in, I think it was maybe 2006. I think we wrote a song called Slow Motion Miracle. It was in that it was not a very good show. It was called Chasing Farrah. It was a documentary about Farrah Fawcett.
I just popped Harold into the stream.
Hey, Harold, do you remember that? I mean, I remember just us sitting in my apartment in Sherman Oaks writing that song. And
he's muted. He's just smiling.
I know. I remember the whole, like, he would play a D over an F sharp, and I always thought that I use that all the time now. That's you, Harold. It's the D over the F sharp. So I've met incredible people, and the support that you've given me has opened up a lot of doors. I know we discussed this earlier in the show. Awards and recognition do help when you're trying to tour, and to if you're going into a place where nobody knows you and they say, well, somebody likes her, it helps. It does help. And so thank you for everything you've done, for everyone that I've met through you, and just for the continual support from everybody, from this whole, I'm looking at my phone where everybody is. I have horrible, horrible reception here. I'm at the top of Big Sur, and that's the only reason why I'm not going to play you a song, is because I keep losing the stream. But we'll get that fixed next time, Brian.
Not a problem.
I'm honored to be with these people right here. So thank you.
It is all the people that have come into the room tonight, all the people that I'm seeing in the audience. Shandy Lawson, just love that guy's everything that guy writes. And Sheila's still here. Jeff Oster, Marshall Walton, Melody Guy, Windwalker Dorn. Windwalker, so good to see you. I miss seeing you out there in California. We did a bunch of events together out there. John Fuller, again, I have to thank John Fuller for last night. It went smoothly. You could tell he wasn't involved with tonight's show because I was trying to do it by myself. It was a big difference. But thank you guys all for sticking in here with me and staying to the end to watch the biggest announcement we've ever made, that we do have a Hall of Fame that's planned. I have a lot of cool ideas about it and what it's going to entail. But we have to start with somebody, and to pull off that kind of achievement, to be putting out high level quality content for this long, I couldn't be prouder than to have you as the example, as the first official inductee.
Well, thank you. And I wanted to follow up on something that I had posted in the chat about the industry being dead. And what I mean by that, and I mean it in a very positive way, we don't make music for the industry. As independent artists, we make music for each other, for ourselves, because we have to. Look, this pandemic and being shut down and not being able to tour, and productions being shut down so we can't license our songs, does it make us stop writing and making music and singing? No, it doesn't. That's not why we do it. We've never made music as independent artists for the industry. I am very fortunate. I did end up signing a record deal back in 2014. 2014 was right after I had a bout with cancer. But it has that independent spirit, and we still do a lot on our own, but we have the support of the marketing teams and things like that. And we do this because we have to, and if you never stop, you will find an outlet and a way. And Harold, I think you're a perfect example of that. You've really capitalized on the live stream, and I love watching what you do and seeing you're so consistent. You're so consistent with it, and I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you, Brian, for not stopping, even though the email list died.
Yeah, that was tough when I had to stop sending out a 30-year-old newsletter because it just didn't make any sense. I wasn't getting no returns on it. So I'm like, it's expensive to send out, and I've got to find other ways. So I've been using social media and literally sending, making phone calls and texts and every smoke signals, like I said, everything I can figure out. Because there's a way. If you just don't give up, they'll find a way. There's new technologies coming out every blink of the eye. Ask, if you want to know where we should go to get on the cutting edge end of things, talk to a 14-year-old. They'll tell you all the new places.
What you just did tonight was fantastic. Like, I'm really, even though I told you my internet's super bad, I'm impressed with the quality of the sound. It's not like that on Zoom. And I can just see all you guys here. It would be great to be able to do these, song shares like we used to do back in the day.
That's what it's going to be. We're going to put on the shows and have you all come out and do a song and get that network. You got to help each other or you all die together. You just do. You've got to help each other. And we've got the kind of people, the people that have stayed involved over the years and have helped out and contributed. They're the people that are going to be the ones that survive and you want to be partnered with because they're really good people and they have a lot of talent and they have a lot of good ideas. And we only saw a fraction, not even a tiny tip of the iceberg of what Just Plain Folks is. And folks like Cindy and Harold have been around long enough to see the overarching. Harold, you've got yourself muted. You're welcome to unmute yourself so you can talk. But I can't unmute you if you're muted. There you go. I was trying to do it, and I realized it was you that it was on your end. But anyway, yeah. So we're at the point where we've given out all the awards. So the awards are officially in the book. I can now shave my beard because I made an agreement not to shave. I'm not joking you, not to shave until the music awards were over, and that was over 3 years ago. So.
Oh my goodness.
And my wife is really happy about that. My wife wants to get on, so she absolutely.
So, Linda, can you shave him on camera, please?
On camera.
Oh. just like a. Yeah.
Okay, now you're live.
I know. I know. I would love to shave it. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
please.
Not completely off, but yeah, mostly.
Oh, I'm so glad that this is over just for that.
All right. We actually have picked up a few people since we've just been bantering. I got to mute my wife, darn, because otherwise there's all kinds of echoes and feedback. So we're at the point where if anybody is out there in the audience that wants to pop in and say hi or get onto the screen, I can put more people into the stream. I know that it's getting late for some people. It's 10 o'clock in the East, so I know if you've got to bail, I totally understand. We will have Harold do a rendition of We're All in This Together to sort of officially finish off put the awards in the book. But if anybody wants to hang sort of after this and just continue to chat for a little while, or maybe break out a song or whatever, that's even possible. Somebody wants to do that. But I certainly will officially release those who have been loyal and have stayed to the end of the official end of the music awards. So we're going to have Harold play us out. And this is a song we used to always be able to sing along as a giant group. So we kind of missed that. But he's going to do a rousing rendition to end our music awards like every previous music awards since we wrote the song. And thank you to everybody who came out. Thank you to all the folks that were in the live stream last night and that will watch this in the future. And as far as stuff we're going to do next year, real quickly, don't start sending me CDs. We probably will do it all digitally. That's just where technology is. So you're going to have to keep your CDs and give them to your fans. And we will take a little break. We deserve it. And before we start into whatever comes next as far as the music awards goes. And but we will be getting back with you very soon about doing virtual shows together. So that is on the slate already. And John Fuller, who you saw earlier, is going to be helping me with that. He's actually already officially accepted the job of LA coordinator. So we're going to have an LA coordinator again, chapter coordinator, because that needs to be launched. And I hope that the veterans from LA that are here will embrace him because he doesn't know anybody out there, but he's very talented. He was going to play tonight, but I don't think
we got him.
Yeah, you got to hook him up, please. He deserves it. He did save my butt in ways I can't even tell you. So at the last second, so I really appreciate his help. But Harold, why don't you go ahead and sing us out?
We're all in this together, bonded by a common groove. We have a gift we all can use, born to celebrate the power of the muse. Locked up in our studios, jamming with the band, speaking in one language everybody understands. 'Cause we're all in this together, joined by the words and the music. Yes, we're all in this together, walking in each other's shoes, bonded by a common groove. The passion burns and it won't let go. People try to tell you that it's only rock and roll. The road may keep you hungry, but the music keeps you whole. Singing for your supper, singing for your soul. 'Cause we're all in this together, joined by the words and the music. Yes, we're all in this together, walking in each other's shoes, bonded by a common groove. Spotlight, it's your night, standing on the stage. Daylight, trying to write, but there's nothing on the page. They may dim the lights, but the dreams will never fade. 'Cause we're all in this together, joined by the words and the music. Yes, we're all in this together, walking in each other's shoes, bonded by a common groove. I'm gonna go off script and thank you, Brian. What you've done for all of us make me want to start crying. Open doors, put people together. We thank you forever for all that you've done for all of us, and found a way to make us connect with each other like sisters and brothers. There's nowhere I'd rather be if I had my brothers. 'Cause we're all in this together, joined by the words and the music and the camaraderie. Yes, we're all in this together, walking in each other's shoes, bonded by a common groove. That key. Can't hear you, Brian, if you're talking.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to have any kind of weird feedback thing starting to go, so I wanted to let that quiet down a little bit. Thank you so much, Harold.
Thank you.
I don't know if I can unmute some people. It might be a quick thing. Nope, they're self-muted. Let me see if Cindy, did you mute yourself? Yes, you did. And
I'm here.
And Jeff did well. No, it's okay. Thank you guys, all of you, for coming out. This is the official end of the Music Awards. If anybody at this point just wants to hang or wants to even jump in the room and say hi, well, no, it's okay. Thank you guys, all of you, for coming out. This is the official end of the Music Awards. If anybody at this point just wants to hang or wants to even jump in the room and say hi, well, no, it's okay. That was Jeff is on a serious lag, so I had to cut him off there. But that's okay. Maybe I should just go ahead and cut it here. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I can't wait to see each and every one of you in person again. and even my wife sitting over there going, "Thank goodness this is done, so I can cut off that long nasty beard."
Please do a video of the beard cutting.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to make a donation to Just Plain Folks, we have a PayPal account on our jpfolks.com website. It's on the right-hand side. Feel free to hit the donate button to help us out. We get all the money back towards the group.
Where is that, Brian?
That's at the jpfolks.com website.
All right.
jpfolks.com, and you open up the page, and it's right on the top right. It's a PayPal donation button. So thank you for that. You're going to see more of us online now that we've actually broken through and got a YouTube channel started. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, by the way. That's one thing I never plugged tonight. We aren't quite at 100, but we're inching our way there after 28 hours, 38 hours, whatever it's been. So want to get over the 100 and then hopefully to 1,000 so we can start doing fun stuff over there. And
Is that Just Plain Folks, Brian?
It's called Just Plain Folks, yep, on YouTube. And we'll get when we hit 100 subscribers, we get to have like a YouTube/Just Plain Folks, but we can't do that until we have 100 official subscribers and 30 days pass. So it's going to be next month. We're at 79, so we need 21 more people. So if there's 21 people in the chat room, there's 29 right now still in here hanging out after the show. So any of you that want to say, click that so just we can get our numbers up and get over the 100, and then we can start promoting it normally with a good URL. Anybody else have anything in closing? Oh, we got a cat. See, now this video is going to get a lot more views now because we got the cat.
Help videos. They do.
Yeah, we should have put the cat in here. I'm gonna unmute Jeff. Are you there? Is it safe?
But that means we have to start from scratch.
Yeah, because he's way back and way behind. That's okay. Yeah, I heard that, Harold. I got the bad joke. Rim shot. I didn't have my little. I need an effects button.
That means we have to start from scratch.
Yeah, way back and way behind. That's okay. Yeah, I heard that, Harold. I got the bad joke. Rim shot. I didn't have my little. I need an effects button.
That means we have to start from scratch.
I don't know what's happening. I think it's a good time to call it. Thank you guys, everybody. And I'm going to be shutting this all down. And until next time, love you all. Don't forget, we're all in this together. Just Plain Folks.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Linda. Bye, Brian. Bye, everybody. Good night.